Hello everyone, today we are going to watch a Chinese movie released in 2016. The name of this film is Never Gone. This is a love story, but along with this is also a movie that shows an emotional feeling. The scene starts from the female lead, Su Yunjin, who is walking through the streets of a city. So we are going to see exactly what she is searching for and why she is searching it with so much importance. So now she is currently in 2015, but in the next scene we are taken back to 2007. Yunjin's father has been bedridden for a long time, so she and her mother take care of everything at home. So after working hard for some time and saving all the money, she is going to join high school. Her dream was to study well and get admission in a good university and settle down in a good job. As she walks along the school campus, a bike is coming at a good speed. When the bike went over a water pipe like, it broke and the water was dire CTLI on Yunjin. He then parked that bike, take off the helmet and given dashing entry. This is the male lead of this movie, Cheng. He is from a very rich family. He is the brightest student in school as well as the first in all sports and activities. That's why he has lots of fans and many of them have proposed him too, but he keeps on rejecting all of them. Cheng has a best friend whose name is Ju, and Yunjin also got a friend on the first day and her name is Mo Yu. So when they get to class, Yunjin gets the seat in front of Cheng. So after a few days, paper distribution is going on in the class. As always, Cheng is the topper but Yunjin got very poor marks. By seeing it, Zhu started teasing her by saying that at first he thought she is very studious but just now realized that she is very much similar to him. But Cheng is hurt after hearing what Zhu said, so he tells her that if she needs any help, she could tell him. But Yunjin is not interested in it, so she rejects it. When she takes a notebook and was leaving the class, Cheng suddenly grabs it and starts playing with her. Suddenly a sanitary pad falls from the notebook. Yunjin gets very angry and slaps him and leaves the classroom. After the break time, the class is starting again. Cheng calls Yunjin slowly because he has to give her the notebook and say sorry to her. But she doesn't mind at all. He kicks the chair she is sitting on several times. At last she gets angry and places the chair over his leg. After the class, Cheng and Zhu are talking to Yunjin. Zhu says that because of her, his leg is in pain, so he needs to be taken to the hospital and for that he needs money. Suddenly Yunjin gives him her card and tells to use it and then she leaves. But actually Cheng's plan was totally different, but anyways it didn't happen. So in the next scene, the canteen is shown where Zhu tells everyone that today is his treat, which means that all the cash in Yunjin's card is for him to spend for such activities. So the ice cream treat is going on in the canteen. At that time, Mo Yu comes to Zhu and team and says, "What are you doing?" She is meeting her full expense with this amount. It is her hard-earned cash. That's what you are spending like this. Anyway, Cheng was very upset when he heard this, so he refilled the card and returned it to her. After that, Yunjin comes to Cheng's sports activities to return the extra money in the card as it has more cash than before. She says that she doesn't need any sympathy from him. In the next scene, Yunjin is shown standing on the rooftop. At that time, Cheng comes there and asks her, "Why are you so tense? Tell me what is the problem. I will help you as much as possible." Then she says, "I don't need any help from you." Anyways, finally he tells her, "If you need my help with studies then I am ready to help you." But she rejects it. But in the end, she accepts his offer because she has no other choice and also because marks are really important for her to make her future safe. So they make a deal that he can tutor her on the rooftop after class. So from the next day, Yunjin started going to rooftop every evening. Cheng gave her many tricks and solutions to score well in the exam. So, after a few days, an exam paper distribution is shown in which Yunjin scores good marks in the main reason behind this is Cheng. Anyway, she is very happy seeing her own marks. Suddenly, Cheng, who is sitting behind, grabs the paper and looks at it and he is also happy to see the mark. Mo Yu likes Zhu very much and therefore she used to go to ground just to watch him playing. Then in the next scene, Cheng meets Mo Yu to ask where is Yunjin as she was not attending classes for past 2 days. Mo Yu says that Yunjin went home suddenly and she don't know what's the matter. Anyway, she doesn't come to class for a couple of days. On the third day, Mo Yu is sitting at Yunjin's desk. Seeing that, Cheng gets angry with her. Then she says that Yunjin has not come to school but has come to the hostel. As soon as he hears it, he rushes to her room to see her. Seeing her like that he asks why you didn't come for so many days. Did I do something wrong? Why did you suddenly go home? Yunjin tells him that he should not try to see her or talk to her from now on. While talking like that, Cheng suddenly sees the black cloth she has pinned and it means that her father is no more. She is very sad because of her father's death. The next scene shows Yunjin running along the track for healing herself from the emotional pain. So after a few days, farewell day of the respective batch comes and some farewell wishes are being shown on the classroom board. So the farewell party comes and everyone was enjoying it. Yunjin and Mo Yu are sitting there together. Cheng looks at Yunjin but wonders how to speak since he hasn't spoken in several days. Yunjin also sits thinking that he will come and talk. Meanwhile, another friend of Cheng's, Zhu, comes to talk to Yunjin and tells her that Cheng is showing sympathy to her, not love. Meanwhile, Mo Yu goes to dance with Zhu. So finally Cheng comes and asks Yunjin to dance with him. At first she says no, but finally goes. So, while they are all dancing, there is a sudden power cut in which Mo Yu quickly gives Zhu a kiss, and at the same time, Cheng quickly hugs Yunjin. Suddenly the power supply comes back and Yunjin runs away from there and Cheng also follows her. After a long gap, they talk calmly, and then it is shown that Cheng is proposing her and asking her to come to Beijing to study and stay with him. But she just thinks about their differences and about the things which Zhu told her. Anyways, she gave him a goodbye kiss without replying anything in particular. He took that as a yes for his question. Then the movie takes us to the year of 2009, where Yunjin is working in a library. In this library, she has a senior who is really close to her and they had attraction towards each other. One evening after work, when she was heading back to home from work, all of a sudden Cheng stood in front of her and started talking to her. He talks very casually like nothing happened between them. While they were talking, her senior came and introduced himself as her boyfriend. At that time Cheng also done the same. Cheng's sister was also there and they all went to a temple. As they're in temple, there is a belief of writing wish in a book. All of them wrote it separately. Cheng keeps on writing just like an essay. At that time, Yunjin tries to look it but he suddenly hide it. After that, while they are outside the temple, a conversation happens between Cheng and Yunjin about past things and he asks why she left him like that. But Yunjin was not ready to talk anything about that. That's when he suddenly kissed her and her senior was watching all those things between them. Cheng's sister distracts the senior and take him to somewhere else to explain their relationship. In the next scene, Cheng, Yunjin and her senior is sitting in a restaurant and having food and drinks. Cheng keep on disturbing them and talks little rudely to Yunjin. He asks Yunjin to drink even though she can't tolerate it. Cheng keep on forcing her and at that instant senior says that he will drink for her but Cheng didn't accept. Finally he drinks and slowly passed out. Cheng was very angry with all things that happened in the temple and was badly hurt. So he keeps on drinking one after one. At that time, Yunjin unconsciously calls Cheng's name again and again. When Yunjin meets her senior at the library the next day, he doesn't pay much attention to her and he tells her that she called Cheng name last night. He tells her that he realized that he is nothing for her, and therefore there is no meaning for their relationship. After hearing all these, Yunjin straightly goes to Cheng and shouts at him and asks why he is doing all this. For that he asks her that why she disappeared from his life after the farewell after giving him hopes. After being angry back and forth for a while, she finally tells Cheng to never come into her life again. The year 2011 is shown next. A hospital is shown. Mo Yu works as a doctor there. She unexpectedly meets Zhu there. He is not well and therefore undergoing a treatment. So Mo Yu cares for him anti-bond again. Then again the scene shifts to Yunjin native where she is walking with her mother and both of them meet a person who is going to be Yunjin's stepdad and have a good conversation. Yunjin feels very happy for them as she understands that her mom is really happy. So after that when they reach back, Yunjin gets surprised by seeing Cheng there. When she asks why he is here, he says I didn't come to see you. My mother electrical factory is here so I came here for work. Anyway, Cheng stays at Yunjin's house that day. At night they were talking casually and meanwhile Yunjin was making dolls. Cheng asks her about doll making and the returns from it. Then when she talked about it, Cheng felt it was very less profit. So he asks that why she is struggling for so little profit and he can arrange something instead. So when she hears that, she says, you don't understand the price. So when she hears that, she says, you don't understand its value. This is something I have been doing for quite some time. This is why our life goes on. Anyway, after saying all that, Yunjin tells Cheng to go to sleep and then she leaves. But Cheng stays up all night and makes all those dolls for Yunjin. So when Yunjin comes in the morning, Cheng is sleeping on one side of the room. She asks him why he is lying here. Then he gives her the dolls he made, which made her very happy. But she laughs and says that the rabbit ears didn't turn out right. Cheng has a lot of marks on his hands from working all night, so she applies medicine to him. He tells her to come with him to Beijing. She also realizes that Cheng is truly in love with her, so finally she agrees to go to Beijing and work there. So Yunjin was setting all the things to go to Beijing but unexpectedly she failed the exam. Then Mo Yu suggests that, instead of applying only to Beijing, apply to the nearest Shanghai as well. So when she wrote the Shanghai-based exam, she passed. When she calls Cheng out of happiness, he gets angry because he told her to come to Beijing, and he says that she never listens to him. Then the next scene shows Yunjin going to Beijing to see Cheng. She calls him and tells him that she is coming. Then he says that he is also coming there to meet her. So they both meet at the station, which is common on the way. In the next scene, Yunjin meets Mo Yu after a long gap. Mo Yu has come to tell her that she is going to another country because Yu is going to get married with someone else and therefore she is going to avoid any further disturbance. Next it is Cheng's sister engagement function. Yunjin is going there with Cheng. When they reach there, they find out that the groom is Yoonjin's senior, so Yoonjin asks him how this happened. Then he says that he needs this marriage to settle his life. Hearing this, Yoonjin suddenly has a feeling in her mind whether she also loves Chang because of this, or does Chang think the same about her. Chang asks her sister that why she is going to marry him without having a clear knowledge about his real intention. At that time, his sister asks him back that how can he be so sure about Yoonjin in that case. Maybe she also loves his money more than him. Chang gets angry and says that he is very much sure about Yoonjin in this matter, and he knows that Yoonjin loves him very much. After that, Yoonjin and Chang have a romantic conversation that night while walking back from the function. They both promises to each other that they will love each other forever. Then we see year 2013, in which Yoonjin is currently working in a good company. Her stepdad has come to meet her. He says that her mother has cancer, so she needs a good amount for the treatment, and he adds that he tried his best to arrange it in every possible way but nothing worked. Then Yoonjin suddenly remembered Chang, but stepdad says that he has already borrowed some amount from their electrical factory, so she thinks not to ask Chang. So she calls several people to ask for a loan, but nothing works. When she gets home in the evening, Chang will be sitting there playing a game, and as soon as he sees her, he asks her what is the matter, but she says nothing. At that time, Chang will say that you are still keeping me at a distance, and he says that I have arranged the cash required for your mother's treatment. But she refuses it by saying that she have already arranged it from her senior, Chang's brother-in-law. By hearing this, he gets really angry. Chang immediately went to see him and shouts at him for involving in his personal matters. When he returned back to Yoonjin, she says that her stepdad has already taken a huge amount of loan from his factory, and therefore she don't want to burden him again. And that is the reason why she refused his money. She adds that she already have a large debt to pay him, and she will definitely pay him back within some time. Chang feels really bad after hearing all this because he realizes that she is keeping a distance from him and very much concerned about the financial things. He says that, till now he helped her out of love as she is the only person whom he loves so deeply, but she can understand his love for her. So Chang says that hereafter he will meet her, the day when she understands him. Chang plans to take over his father's business in United States. The day when he is flying to States, he waits for her call. Yoonjin knows that he is going, but still she stops herself from contacting him. After some days, Yoonjin visits the same temple she visited with Chang the other day. There she finds the same book, this in which he expressed his love for her. Finally, she decides to meet him and start her journey to US. This is again the first scene, which took place in the year of 2015, where she roams through the street in search of someone. So here it is understandable that she is searching for Chang. She is looking for his office, and finally she tracked it. And the final scene of this movie is that she finds Chang outside his office, standing next to his car. The movie ends here in a way to lead to the next part of this movie, Never Gone 2. Hope you guys like this movie. Stay tuned for new movies. Thank you.